Good afternoon and welcome to Locked On NBA. On today's show, Luka makes his Lakers preseason debut, Jason Kidd gets extended, Jonathan Kuminga gets ejected, and we continue our team-by-team season preview series with the Heat and the Trailblazers. Let's jump in.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, welcome back to Locked On NBA. However you're tuning in on YouTube or on your favorite podcast app, thanks for making us your first listen every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. I'm Wes Goldberg, and today we're talking about how fast the Heat can rebuild in the wake of Jimmy Butler, and if the Blazers can build on last season and push for a playoff spot. We're doing it with the help of Locked On's local experts. I have two of the best with me as always from the Locked On Nuggets podcast. He's a senior NBA writer for the Action Network. It's Matt Moore. Matt?
It was great to be back at the arena last night for the Nuggets preseason game. I had my second screen up on my iPad, watching games, flipping through all the preseason stuff. Rockets putting up big numbers. And then the officials called 7,000 fouls in a preseason game between the Bulls and the Nuggets. I am filing charges on war crimes against those men for taking so many hours of my life from me.
From the Locked On Bulls podcast, he's also a Bears and Bulls creator for Bleacher Report. It's Haize. Haize, we are so back.
Yeah, we're definitely back. I mean, we're in season mode. I was talking to Pat, my co-host, the other day. Just like we've already covered 4 games in 6 days. We're back in season mode. That's for sure.
Yo, Bazelis is legit. That was my takeaway from that game last night.
He's legit. Him now recognizing when he can take players off the dribble is crazy.
Like sweeping left hand, finger rolls. There were sequences where Peyton Watson got him on ISO and was like, all right, I'm going to, and then thought second about it. Was like, maybe not, because the kid's got such great wingspan. Bazelis is the truth.
We should do a Locked On NBA daily all NBA team, just our favorite guys. And I think Bazelis might be the captain of that team early on, at least right now. But let's start
It's just the Wizards for me, Wes. It's
the full Wizards roster plus Bazelis. Just add that and then ideal basketball team. Let's start in Los Angeles, where Luka Doncic made his preseason debut for the Lakers. He had 25 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists in 22 first-half minutes. And according to Locked On Lakers, it went about as good as they could hope.
He looked like Luka Doncic. And, we've talked a lot leading up to this game about how Luka's practices and non-practices and non-participation at times, until eventually they were just spelling out exactly what the plan was. We both had a bit of concern about, is Luka okay? And by the way, we are not the only people who cover this team. One as well. He looked really good. Neither one of us would have expected him to go, completely balls to the walls in a preseason game, especially knowing the way he is going to have to lift up a lot, even by Luka lifting standards without LeBron. Mm-hmm. So you want to make sure that he is treating this with the appropriate amount of pace, but you also want him to get the appropriate amount of work to make this worth his time in the first place. And in that sense, like you said, this was pretty much exactly how you would want to draw it up.
Pretty much exactly how you want it drawn up. Matt, are you as optimistic as Brian and Andy are?
I think this to me is more of, hey, no red flags, right? Looks in shape. He did hit one shot last night, a sidestep 3, a pump fake sidestep 3 that had me just reeling in my chair, just good God, Luka. I feel like we just know what he's going to be, man. When he was out of shape, he was still a tank. He was a one-man army that put up a triple-double with 30 points every single night. That's what he's going to be. We know what he's going to be. The questions are about, can the Lakers put enough defense around him? Can the Lakers put enough pieces around him to maximize and optimize him? Which the Mavericks very rarely did. And so, that to me is the only question here, Haize. I have no concerns about what Luka is going to be. He is entering that part of his career where he's going to start making more of an impact that started honestly last year. before he got hurt. The impact metrics were finally showing like, hey, Luka's turned a corner here. And then the Mavs gave up on him because Nico Harrison's a moron. I have zero concerns. This game I wasn't like, wow, this was the Suns. This was like the Suns C team. Come on. But he did the thing and he looks great. And it's going to be a great season for Luka.
Yeah, I mean, I think the key in that clip that we watched, it's Luka looked like Luka. Like I don't know how many Luka games everybody's gotten to watch, but he looks like Luka Doncic. Is he lighter? Yes. And is that going to hopefully help him some in the season? The thing that I want to see about Luka, and we won't know until the regular season, that added defensive effort that we saw in Eurobasket, are we going to see that consistently in the Lakers jersey? Because if we do, that's going to help take this team a little bit further for sure. But Luka was Luka. And that's a player that's going to be in MVP conversation every single year that he's healthy. He's going to be in MVP conversation to some degree, and he deserves that because Luka is that level of player. He played great.
We got breaking news. The Sacramento Kings have signed Russell Westbrook via
officially. That's crazy.
It's official. I was going to ask you guys, like it, don't like it? What do you think?
All I can say is are there enough basketballs? Everybody's shooting, and there's going to be a lot of inefficient shooting at that. Russ, Levine, and DeMar on the same team. That's crazy to me.
So Domantas Sabonis, who gets under people's like sneaky. Like Domantas isn't dirty. He's just like he. You play Domantas, Dennis Schroeder, and Russell Westbrook. Is this going to be the most obnoxious team in the NBA? Like,
right.
there's no real chance here.
How many Sabonis's, Westbrooks, and Schroeders equals one Draymond Green, I suppose, is the real question there.
See, my question is, should we trade DeMar DeRozan to the Suns for Dylan Brooks?
Oh, my God.
Yeah!
Now we're talking. So now, all right, so we've already established we're going to do an all locked on NBA team. We're also going to do just an all obnoxious team. We'll have both of these teams, and then they could play each other in some sort of simulation at the end of the year. Let's get into some headlines here. In addition to Russell Westbrook signing with Sacramento, let's go to Portland, where in last night's Warriors-Blazers game, Jonathan Kuminga received the rare one-tech ejection after arguing a no call with the ref. He reportedly clapped in the ref's face, then waved him off, prompting the ejection. Haize, was this a bad look for Kuminga?
Yeah, I mean, Kuminga, everything right now is a bad look for Jonathan Kuminga if he's not focused on playing basketball. I think that's just simply put. Kuminga needs to be focused on basketball. He needs to be playing basketball really well right now because we know that the goal is to still trade him. And that's just, my point. Now, outside of that, for entertainment purposes, keep it going. But for his career purposes, this isn't really a good look for him right now.
I don't really care. I think one thing I will say is from the officials generally, I am very worried about what this early season is going to look like. Teams talked about physicality over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And in the preseason, and I looked at this last night because Ben Durando of the Post was asking me about it. We're seeing the highest foul rate per 100 possessions in preseason play since 2019. So I think that teams are playing physical and the refs are calling a lot of fouls. And so with Kuminga's case, I think this is more a matter of you let that go, but how about this? And then, clapping. The clapping thing, my biggest takeaway, honestly, is how you cannot give him a tech because you let Draymond slide all the time. You let Draymond do whatever he wants. Where do you think he learned it, ref? Where do you think he learned it from? His bet has been absolutely humiliating you for a decade, and you let him get away with it. So I don't blame Kuminga at all here. I think this is more about the general officiating tone.
Steve Kerr in postgame said he actually liked it from Jonathan Kuminga. He liked the fieriness. He pointed out that he had 6 rebounds. Let the rebuilding of the trade value here begin.
You got paid.
Yeah.
You got paid, and we have to play you. I like you a lot better now for some reason.
You might be here for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Let's go to Dallas. Final headline here. Head coach Jason Kidd has agreed to a multi-year contract extension. Kidd said that in his statement, quote, "I'm looking forward to what's ahead and continuing to work toward bringing another championship back to Dallas," end quote. Haize, what do you make of Kidd's extension?
I mean, I think it's commitment. I mean, keep in mind they turned down the Knicks wanting to interview Jason Kidd, so I think it is a commitment to where they are with Cooper in this path that they're going to be going for. Kidd is a good coach. He's a really good NBA coach. He's and well above average is what I'll say. I like Jason Kidd as a coach, and I think for this Mavericks team to keep that same voice as you're trying to build and develop is important for a team.
I just want to. No one finesses quite like Jason Kidd.
Oh, nobody.
Oh, man, Jason Kidd's in talks to be the Knicks coach. Knicks continue to have interest in Jason Kidd. What do you know? Jason Kidd got a new extension. Hey, that's neat. What odd timing and suspicion, but far enough out. Couldn't have had anything to do with that. Certainly not. I continue to not think Jason. I don't think Kidd's a great coach. I just don't. I think I don't know that. Well, I put it this way. I actually think Jason Kidd's a good coach. I'm not sure he's a good manager. And being an NBA coach is about being as much of the latter as it is the former. Like, you got to be able to manage personalities and people and keep people engaged and build relationships and foster connections and mitigate egos. And I do not think Jason Kidd is good at the latter, but I do think that he might be pretty good at the former. So maybe that's enough to keep him around.
Speaking of managing personalities, the Miami Heat are rebuilding in the wake of Jimmy Butler's trade to Golden State. But who will become the next face of the Heat franchise? And is that player already on the roster? We'll talk about that next. Today's episode of Locked On NBA is brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all of their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's a 401k, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all of your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization on your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever having to touch a spreadsheet. Save smarter by finding better investments to help you build wealth, get rid of pointless spending, and discover ways to cut costs, and even find forgotten 401ks from past jobs. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with the code LOCKEDONNBA. Today's episode is also brought to you by Game Time. Basketball season is officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real, getting tickets can be a total headache. Between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout, it's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Game Time comes in. The app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. I love that what you see is what you pay. No hidden fees at checkout. Plus, I could see exactly what my view looked like before I bought the tickets with their in-app seat view feature. Their zone deals are a game changer. You pick the section, Game Time picks the seats, and you save big. You can even find NBA tickets for under $25. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Welcome back to Locked On NBA. Thanks for making us your first listen. The best way to support the show is to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We're continuing our team-by-team season preview series with the Miami Heat, who are coming off a season dominated by Jimmy Butler's trade drama and a first-round exit sweep at the hands of the Cleveland Cavaliers. My Locked On Heat co-host David Ramil asks, what comes next?
The Miami Heat are entering a new phase of the team's history that is difficult to define. In the 30 years since Pat Riley took over, the team has had either Alonzo Mourning, Dwayne Wade, or Jimmy Butler on the roster for all but two of them. That's 28 years of being carried by a superstar player, and when you look at the current team, no one fits that particular bill. There are all-star level players, Bam Adebayo and Tyler Herro, as well as Andrew Wiggins and Norman Powell, who just had his best NBA season at age 31. But none of these players projects to be a superstar this upcoming season, at least not from what we've seen from them thus far. And that's where the real question comes in. The team can be good. There's talent, youth, and depth, even if that is tested early on with a tough schedule, with Herro expected to miss the start of the season. But who is the player who steps up when you need them to carry the team in key moments? Butler played that role for the past 6 seasons, and while Adebayo, Herro, and Powell have come through in the clutch at times, none of them have done so consistently or been expected to do that regularly. Scoring by committee can win a few games here and there, but the league is a superstar-driven one, and this is a team that is lacking in that department. Ultimately, I think the team will be a surprising one, better than most expect, and with head coach Erik Spoelstra finding a way to draw every drop of blood from this underwhelming stone. But the theme throughout the first week of training camp is counting on someone to pop, to find a way to flourish and emerge as a reliable go-to option. We'll see if that might be enough to earn a playoff berth, or if this is another lackluster showing that leads to the play-in tournament for a fourth consecutive season.
No superstar on the roster. Matt, how do you view this Heat roster? How do you view this Heat team in the East without that Jimmy Butler type presence?
First off, shout out to Alonzo Mourning. That would be his autograph right there on that basketball behind me. 2, David looking very sharp in that black shirt. 3, for the love of God, man, improv a little bit. Come on, man, you're reading it like reading.
I don't trust any pre-written statements, especially when they come from somebody who podcasts with Wes 5 times.
I regret my actions in thinking the Heat could acquire a top 10 player through draft.
Matt, it's more than what Kawhi Leonard gave us.
That's true.
I will relay that message to David Haize that you trust him more than you trust Kawhi Leonard. I'm sure he'll be over the moon about that.
David has somehow planted more trees as well than Kawhi.
I bet he has.
So, I was talking to a scout this week, and they were saying that the sense around the league is that the Heat are doing the thing that everybody that has the hardcores have wanted them to do, which is, hey, develop the young guys. But the problem is just like there's nobody on this roster. It's not Haize. It's not Ware. I understand the excitement about Jovic. I understand. I just am like, okay, he could be like the 3rd best player on a championship team. You still don't have that guy, but I think that's okay. Like, I think it's okay to kind of still want to compete and wait for a black swan event to happen, because those things do happen. Like, there's a lot of teams that have kind of shuffled along and been in the play-in mid-range kind of situation, and then they stumble upon a franchise player. Like,
the Nuggets did that.
Do what?
You guys did that.
Yeah, and like the Bulls kind of did with Jimmy, where it was like they were a really good team, and we're kind of
had Derek
out, and then. Yeah, but they were drifting out after the Derek injury, and then Jimmy came up, right?
Yeah.
And they kind of boosted them back up because they still had Noah, but it was like, what are you guys doing? Like, you're just kind of hanging around. And then it was like, oh, you got Jimmy Butler. Now it kind of, and then they blew that. But anyway, I think you can do this, and it works. I think they're going to be good this year. Like, I think the Heat are going to be really good this year. I think that they're going to be not a serious contender for the East, but I wouldn't be shocked if they wound up in a conference finals. And then who knows? Once you make a Final Four, you're within range of it. Long term, if they want to make that jump to elite status, it's going to require either a tank or for them to absolutely empty everything into a trade, which is what they want to do, but they haven't been able to find the guy yet. And I just don't know if that's going to happen. Like, the question is, like, do you run out of steam before that happens? I do kind of think that eventually there's going to have to be a full tank job. I just think in the next 4 years, you're going to have to do a full tank job, but you have enough to kind of coast along and hope that you can find a black swan event until then.
First of all, they have Andrew Wiggins on this team. They clearly have their star. What are you talking about, Matt? They have the guy that they need. He's an NBA champion. He's going to get it. No. They're in the East, and having this type of team that has, a lot of really good players on it, that can take you far in the East, especially with really good coaching, which they have in Erik Spoelstra. So all the things are there for them to make a run in the East. How deep that run can go depends on a number of factors. I like this Heat roster. I like a lot of players on this Heat roster, and the Heat are one of those rosters that are ready. Like, if somebody does surprisingly take that star leap on this roster, or if they look up and they do trade for somebody, this roster's made to have a lot of role players that can support that type of player. So, you never know what the fortune is going to have, but I still think this is a team that's going to be competing to be top 6, 7 seed in the Eastern Conference.
Giannis? Maybe.
Could be.
But why? Like, what's the point?
Why? It's Giannis.
Pat Riley.
Yeah, but
that's
okay.
Why.
Here's the thing. One, okay, if you can get him without giving up Bam, great. Because that's always the thing is, well, we're definitely not giving up Bam. They probably need to lower that a little bit. Like, you need to start talking about it. Like, Bam can't be the guy. Like, he's not a 1A, 1B.
We had this debate on Locked On Heat. Would you rather? The idea that was out there after the Knicks rumor was Cat, a first-round pick. Maybe there's a filler salary in there. I think there has to be. Goes to Milwaukee for Giannis. Like, what if that was the offer? Assuming that's the Knicks offer, is Bam and a first-round pick better than Cat and a first-round pick?
Oh, that's a really good question. God, that's a really good one. That's a really good
The
question.
contract makes that actually a pretty good question in regards to that.
Yeah. Like, it's not that I don't recognize how great Bam is, because I think he is. It's just like this does get back into a really great philosophical debate of, I love the impact guys like Bam, but on a night-to-night basis, there is a lot of value in, I know I can get 25 from this guy every night.
So let's jump into that here, because that was the next question we asked David. What more do the Heat need from Bam?
For better or for worse, this team belongs to Bam Adebayo now that Jimmy Butler is no longer on the roster. And as such, Bam being the top scorer on this team is the best case scenario for the Miami Heat. Fans have been clamoring for him to be more aggressive for years, often ignoring all the ways he impacts the game positively as one of the top centers in the league. His production as a scorer has been inconsistent, and last season was the perfect indicator of that. He started off poorly for a number of reasons, and then, following the Butler trade, his numbers picked up considerably. But if the Heat are going to emerge as a legitimate playoff team, Bam's scoring has to be better throughout the entire season. Here is a good scorer and an all-star last year. Newly acquired Norm Powell is a complementary player that can carry some of the offensive burden. But in order for Miami to be their best, Adebayo has to be more aggressive than ever, even as he blends a solid three-point shot to his repertoire, one that has been mostly based on his mid-range game and finishes at the rim. On top of that, the added aggression will lead to more free throw opportunities, an area in which Butler excelled. The Heat lack a superstar on their roster, but if he scores almost as well as he does everything else, they'll have that in Bam Adebayo.
The idea being that maybe the superstar is already on the roster in Bam. My question to you guys, and we have to be quick with this though, Haize, do you think that there is another level for Bam to get to, or do you think this is who he is?
No, I think there is another level for Bam to get to. I think we've seen flashes of it. The question is, can he do it consistently? I think Bam averaged, 18 points per game last year. I could see a world in which Bam averages 22, 23 points per game. I think that's there.
That's not enough.
It's not enough. I'm just saying that he can make another step.
Yeah, but like you can't make another step to superstardom. Like this is it. Like this is it. And I love Bam, but it's time to give up and just be like, this is it. This is where we're at. And we just need to kind of like accept that he is a 2A, potentially 3A guy. And he does a lot of stuff that really matters. His isolation, like he is an elite defender and he is a great passer. He's not aggressive enough, and he's not somebody that can, like, he's not one of these point centers. Like, you'd rather, I can't believe it. This pains me. You'd rather have Alperen Şengün right now than Bam Adebayo. You just would. Because Alperen is going to, it's like, oh, you need 25 tonight. Alperen's like, cool, I'll get you 25 to 30. We need 12 assists tonight. Cool, I'll get you 12. Versus Bam, it's like, best I can do is 17 and 7.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm there yet with Alperen Şengün, but I will say this, back to your original point, we do need to just understand who Bam is. And if Bam is something short of a superstar and maybe the second best player on a championship team, that's still an extremely valuable player to have on a roster. And all of those kinds of players look a lot better when you have that number one option, which the Heat, frankly, have not had even before Jimmy Butler got traded, at least in the regular season sense. Like, Jimmy Butler wasn't even that guy in the regular season, which is why I think fans have been so frustrated in Miami with Bam. But if he's elite defensively, he's an elite passer at his position, he's an elite rebounder at his position. If you look at his rebounding rates, and he's merely a pretty good scorer, that's still a very good player to have. But we're going to go to the Western Conference next, where we're going to ask one of the league's hottest teams to end last season whether or not they can build on their success and push for a playoff spot this season. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer that you're not going to want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love how FanDuel gives me so many ways to play, as I've built parlays, tried player props, even followed the live lines during games. It makes watching football even more exciting when you got a little something riding on the action. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Back here with Locked On NBA. Thanks for making Locked On NBA your first listen every day. The Locked On Podcast Network has a show for every team. So check out Locked On Lakers for more on Luka's debut. Check out Locked On Sacramento Kings for the signing of Russell Westbrook. And Matt George's take on that, he'll have one over there. You can also find Locked On Warriors for Jonathan Kuminga's ejection, Locked On Mavericks. I'm sure they'll be talking about Jason Kidd's extension and Cooper Flagg over and over and over and over again. You can also check out my show, Locked On Heat, for more on the Miami Heat. But we're going to move on to the Portland Trail Blazers, who ended last season by winning 23 of their final 41 games, thanks to a defense that was one of the best in the league during that stretch. Here's Mike Richmond from Locked On Blazers with more.
What's the biggest question facing the Trailblazers this season? It's pretty simple. It's whether they can maintain their pace from the second half of last season. In the final 41 games of the 24-25 season, the Blazers went 23-18. They had a top 3 defense in the NBA. They were legitimately pesky. They didn't dominate all of the best teams in the West, but they won enough games and played defense consistently well enough to make you think that there's something there. The biggest question isn't proving that they could do it for half a year, it's carrying it into all 82 for this season. And if Blazers do that, if they maintain that pace, roughly 46 wins and a top 5 defense, you're looking at a playoff team this year. The departures of DeAndre Ayton and Anthony Simons don't really impact the defensive upside of this team, but there is a question about how good they can be on offense. But if the defense is that good, it doesn't matter as much. A 46-win team in the West makes the playoffs. And if they don't get that high, this is a play-in team or something slightly short of that.
So how real was the second half of last season? Do you think that the Blazers can build on that, Haize?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would say that it's more real than not. I still, a little trepidatious about saying that for sure. But I believe it's more real. I think when you do it with your young players, you're adding a player like Drew Holiday there as well. I think the key thing for them is going to have to be locking in defensively. It is going to be who takes a step, whether it's Shaedon Sharpe or whoever it is. But this is a team that has some really good young talent. I think they're coached decently. And I don't know if I have them being in the playoffs, but I can see a world in which they're contending for a play-in spot this season.
I'm out. I tried really hard. Like, I felt like this was going to be that team that everybody kind of jumped on and was like, hey, I just don't think there's enough here. A big question for me is, and I like Chauncey Billups very much as a personality and everything I've heard about him as a human. Like, I don't know Chauncey personally. I'm not sure he's a good coach. I'm just not. I think this team, what I heard last year was basically the front office had given them no direction. Hey, they didn't tell them you're supposed to lose games. We want you to win games. The front office didn't trade guys. So they still had these veterans. And so the directive was just kind of whatever. And so the team kind of like banded together and made a run in that second half of the season. I just don't know if any of that's real. And I don't know if Billups is a good coach. And I don't think they have enough offense. And Scoot Henderson's already hurt, which he's supposed to be kind of like the guy that they're hoping makes a leap to kind of drive them. Yang Hansen might be the difference here, where it's like, hey, if he just like surprises everybody and is awesome, that can shift everything. But I am personally out on the Blazers. I don't think there's enough offense here. I think this team is going to underperform and we're going to see more changes.
Let's pick up there because that is the biggest story in Portland. Yang Hansen, and they take him with the 16th pick in the first round. He's already inspiring a lot of excitement among Blazers fans, and some of these Blazers fans are wondering if this guy is the future face of the franchise.
Yes, the Trailblazers season preview with 2 Yang Hansen what-ifs. How does he become a franchise center? Well, he's got to take significant step forward on defense. He has some tools on offense. He's a really good passer for a big man. He's at 7'2". He has a pretty intriguing handle. Like, he can go behind his back and spin off out of the post. He's got some shooting touch, as we've seen him make some three-pointers in Vegas and early in preseason. But the questions are, can he be an anchor on the defensive end? Because that's the real hallmark of franchise centers in the modern NBA. He has some lateral quickness challenges. He doesn't have great defensive positioning, and he fouls a little bit too much. All very common for young players, but if he's going to become a franchise center, he's going to really have to check the box as a defensive force. One thing you won't have to worry about with him, though, is selling jerseys. The only way any Trailblazer outsells Yang Hansen's jersey this year is if they close the team store. That number 16 is going to be the most popular jersey in Portland and perhaps in the whole dang league. It's that type of market. Welcome to the league, Yang Hansen.
Matt, are you buying the Yang Hansen stock here? Drinking the Kool-Aid?
I am. I think he's really fun. I think this is the type of player that I think can change things. It's these unconventional skill sets I think are so valuable in today's NBA. It's really interesting that this is such a copycat league, when in reality, it's the guys that defy our conventions that so often change the trajectory of franchises. When the Nuggets drafted Nikola Jokic, I was like, oh, that's hilarious. They drafted a fat Serbian center who passes. Yeah, and now he's like one of the 10 best players of all time if he wins another title, according to Bill Simmons today. I think that Hansen, I think this is going to be like a huge story in the league. I think there's a potential for this. I don't know if it's going to happen this year, but I do think that there's a potential. If anything is going to be the Black Swan event that I always talk about for the Blazers, it's Yang Hansen.
I'm buying stock in Hansen as well. Like he's just so skilled as a big man, and like to Matt's point, like when you have something that makes your team unique, it gives you a point to build around, and it's hard for teams to counteract that. So he has the chance. I don't want to put too much on him right away. He's 20 years old. I don't know how much of that happens in his first 2 years as he's adjusting to the NBA game, but keep a lookout for this kid. I think he's going to be really good. I think he has the desire to be good, and he's a really, really skilled player, and it gives you so much freedom in the way that you have to build. You can potentially build pieces around him. So it's going to be fun to watch what the Blazers do.
He hit Drew Eubanks off the dribble with a behind-the-back dribble into a layup the other night in a preseason game. And I know it's Drew Eubanks. It's not exactly like he did it against Victor Wembanyama, but still very impressive to see a rookie 7-footer hit him with that move. Good enough, guys, to make the early edition of the all Locked On NBA Daily team alongside Montes Buzelis and the entire Washington Wizards roster?
Could be tough cut between him and Otto Iguodaro. I don't know.
Modest all the way.
We'll end it there. If you like what you heard today, subscribe to Locked On NBA wherever you get your podcasts, including on YouTube. Thanks to Matt and Haize for their expertise every day. Thank you for making Locked On NBA your first listen. We'll see you right back here tomorrow on Locked On NBA.